Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today I'm here to show you my Magicka DragonKnight, also known as Magdk, beginner build for the Deadlands DLC patch. As a part of the beginner setup series, I'll be focusing on a starting rotation and gear that are easily accessible. For the sake of this theme and to be as new player friendly as possible, I'll be avoiding mythics, arena weapons, trial, or dungeon gear. Furthermore, the rotation for many classes will be simplified. This build is capable of pulling over 76k on the parse dummy and is valuable for most starting content. The build specializes in normal group content such as trials, vet dungeons, and group arenas. This build is great for overland but is not specifically designed for it. Magdk is in a really good state this patch. They are probably the hardest hitting class, if not one of the best. So with that being said, here's the build. Starting off in the character sheet, I have 64 points in a Magicka and I'm running the Thief Mundus. For this particular build, I am a Dark Elf. Khajiit and High Elf are pretty close in comparison, and as a beginner build, any race will work just fine. So for food, we're going to be running Clockwork Citrus Fillet for any hard content. A good viable alternative would be Witch Mother's Potent Brew. It's cheaper and it's pretty much the same thing. And if you need more sustain, then Ghastly Eyeball is always the go-to. So for potions, we're going to be running Essence of Spell Power. Essence of Spell Power gives us access to some of the most important buffs for Magicka DPS. If you do run these potions, they do cost a little bit, so make sure you have 3 points in the medicinal use from the alchemy skill line so that you benefit from the full duration of the potions. So for CP, for the blue tree, we're going to be running Fighting Finesse, Master at Arms, Deadly Aim, and Backstabber. Moving on to the red tree, we're going to be running Boundless Vitality, Rejuvenation, Siphoning Spells, and Sustained by Suffering. So for gear, we're going to be running 2 daggers of Julianos, one in Nirnhoned, one in Charged, with a poison and a flame damage respectively. For the back bar, we're going to be running Inferno Staff of Julianos infused with the weapon and spell damage glyph. For the head and shoulders, we're going to be running 2 pieces of Hunning's Rage and Light, both with max stam traded in Divines. For the body, we're going to be running 5 pieces of New Moon Acolyte, all light with max mag traded in Divines. And for the jury, we're going to be running 3 pieces of Julianos, all with spell damage glyphs traded in Bloodthirsty. So for skills, we're going to be running Burning Ember, Molten Whip, Engulfing Flames, Barbed Trap, Flames of Oblivion, and Flawless Dawnbreaker. Back bars Degeneration, Blockade of Fire, Eruption, Scalding Rune, and Inner Light with Standard of Might as our ultimate. So the rotation goes, we start off with a Degeneration into a Blockade of Fire, into a Burning Embers, Engulfing Flames, Eruption, Scalding Rune, Flames of Oblivion, Barbed Trap, and 4 whips, and then your Standard of Might gets dropped whenever it's available, preferably right before you whip. Another way to explain this rotation is 2 skills from your back bar, 2 skills from your front bar, 2 skills from your back bar, and 2 skills from your front bar, and then whip 4 times. So closing thoughts in terms of gear progression. First off, we're running New Moon Acolyte on the body because I figure that's the first set to be replaced. Probably Mother Sorrow for the body. I don't really recommend Basai in the beginning just because there's a lot of complex micromanagement that you have to do with your Magicka. From there, your front bar can be either Kinra or Advancing Yokeda. There's a plethora of options, but my recommendation would probably just be Kinra, which is from Black Drake Villa, and then running Mother Sorrow on your body, which would be a good start. Next, we have the option to run either a Monster Helm or a Mythic. So if you're going the Mythic route, I definitely recommend Harpooner's Waiting Kilt. For the small amount of content that it is not viable for, including solo content, I'd recommend running Death Dealer's Fate. So for solo content, you could run Pale Order instead of Death Dealer. If you do run a Mythic, make sure you pair it with a 1-piece Slime Crawl. If you do go the Monster Helm route, you can probably go either Stormfist, Maul, or Karnar. If nobody is running Enkrades, Enkrades is a really good helm. I think you noticed that I'm running Blockade of Fire instead of Unstable Wall, which is what everybody runs, but Blockade tends to line up better with your other skills, being the longer duration version of the morph. So that's why I chose to run that. Obviously, because we're running a completely static rotation, none of the skills are going to be completely on point, but that's what you have to sacrifice for static. This patch, Magdks are, as I stated earlier, in a really good spot. They have tons of buffs to their sustain, and they hit really hard. Especially in actual content, they outperform the majority of classes. I don't recommend running staves because you're in melee range, so just stick with daggers. for your front bar. Your back bar, you want to upgrade to a maelstrom. I forgot to mention that. That wraps up the build explanation of this portion of the video. Thank you for watching my video, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. As a reminder, if this video helped in any way, please help the channel grow by subscribing and liking the video if you like the piggies. Feel free to stick around for an attached parse at the end. If not, have a good day and thank you again.